Then let's go.
Achilles Devonport, Connor Devonport. Oh, Achilles died. See, Achilles died. We never saw that. Apparently we buried him. Abigail? And Connor? Do we have a wife? Is Connor named after, like, did Connor, like, did his wife and son die?
We're right behind you.
Yeah, we're missing a whole sequence. That's terrible. Ubisoft, please, come on. Man, that was... wow. Like, it's so much worse than I thought. You know, when I'm playing through the first, 3/4 of the game, I was thinking, wow, this is really, unpolished, unfinished. It's much, much worse than I thought. They literally missed one or two sequences in the end.
Moment of truth.
I swear we've been breaking that rope over and over again. Like the string that ties the amulet to the neck. Like every time somebody takes it off, they pull it off and break the rope. Yeah, it's a door, guys. Let's just keep walking. Everyone's just looking at each other. Whoa, the door opened. What do you think was gonna happen? Alright, parkour. We're gonna parkour our way to Juno and she's gonna take over our bodies. Why is the camera doing this?
Yes. Come.
That's it? Cutscene? Yeah, it's gonna be Juno. It's gonna be Juno, and she's gonna be crazy.
Here, at last.
Hi.
You know our story now. Of how we tried. Of how we failed. All our hopes extinguished. Save one. Your touch. A spark. A spark to save the world.
Wait! Do not touch the pedestal.
Oh, hey.
You. But how? You left. You destroyed the device.
Did you think there was only one?
What the hell is going on here?
You must not free her.
Free her?
Juno dwells within these walls, awaiting release. I will explain. While we worked to save the world, she sought instead to conquer it. She used our machines to set her plans in motion. Divination through numbers. There is a pattern to existence. To comprehend the calculations is to tame time. This was my focus. And so I built the eye to aid us. But she turned it towards her own ends. When we discovered her treachery, we put a stop to it. And then we left. But first we called to you, that you might try again. We thought it would be safe with her gone. Now I see we were deceived. She survived, she endured, and then she began to work. For centuries, Tinny and I walked the world, hoping to rekindle the spark of civilization. We shared what we knew as best we could. We were not the only ones, but for all the power we wrought, still death would claim us. But before it did, I would have one last look to know if we had succeeded.
That's how you're here now?
I had hoped you might find this place and finish our work. But it is too late. You and the Templars have squabbled over our refuse. You have wasted centuries, and so you have lost your chance. You cannot hope to stop the end now, Desmond. Only to survive.
She's lying! Only touch the pedestal and the world will be saved.
Better the world burn than she be loosed upon it.
Is that so? Show him then.
But he will not understand. It is complicated. It is...
Show me.
If you heed Minerva, the sun will have its way. The ground will crack and spit fire into the skies. All the world will burn. But this does not end the world, merely heralds its arrival. Darkness follows. Then you emerge, resolving to lay a foundation that such a tragedy does not befall the world again. You will become a symbol to those who survive. Hope, knowledge, determination. You will inspire them to rebuild, to thrive once more. And as the world heals, so too will humanity. But you are just a man, frail and mortal. You pass from the world, leaving behind only a memory. A legacy. You will be remembered first as a hero, later as a legend, and in time, as a god. It is the cruelest fate to have written words that meant well, and see them made wicked and unwise. What was meant to encourage life, used instead to justify taking it. And so now you see that what was shall be again. So tell me, how is this better?
And if I touch Juno's orbs,
She would sacrifice you, sacrifice the world, for no other reason than to deny me vindication.
They will enslave your kind, Desmond. Is this not why you fight? Is this not why you came here? To ensure more than just your race's future, but its freedom?
What future? What freedom? Billions dead and the whole cycle begun anew? This world has known nothing but heartache and horror since we left it.
Our gift to them, and you'd see it all returned.
Enough!
You must not do this.
Whatever Juno's planning, however terrible it might seem today, we'll find a way to stop it. But the alternative, what you want, there's no hope there.
If you free her, you'll be destroyed.
It will happen in an instant. There will be no pain.
You mustn't.
It's done, Minerva. The decision's made.
Then the consequences of this mistake are yours to live and die with.
You need to go. All of you. Now. Get as far away from here as you can. Come with us! We'll find another way. There isn't time. Son. You know it's true. It's already started. I need to do this now. So go. Go!
yes! Release the crazy woman! Juno gets to parkour again! Touch her arm, Desmond. But how does releasing Juno save the world?
It's some sort of global aurora borealis. Never seen anything like this before. Eyewitnesses describe electrical storms and erratic displays of unusual weather. Residents are being asked to remain inside and wait for geological surveys are now reporting seismic activity throughout the Ring of Fire. Northeastern Canada is said to be experiencing the largest on record. Satellites and transformers are failing as the flare increases in intensity. Worldwide reports of blackouts seems to be receding. Residual seismic and volcanic activity is being reported, but nothing approaching earlier levels. Obviously, it'll be a while before experts are able to assess the full extent of the damage caused by today's events. But it appears the worst is behind us. We'll be sure to bring you more as this story develops.
But
It is
how?
done. The world is saved. You played your part well, Desmond. But now it's time that I played mine.
So how does releasing Juno save the world? I don't understand that. How? Did she have the method right there? And she just refused to use it? Like it's some kind of blackmail? Or like was she... I don't understand. I don't understand how touching Juno's orb stops the disaster from happening. What? Man, they didn't even finish the game. They didn't finish the game. Ah, well, there you go. Hopefully, the sequels are better. What's the next one? Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag. There's also Assassin's Creed Liberation, I think. It's not a main game. It's like a side game. I might play that too. Yeah, what's the next one? Black Flag, and then 5 Unity. I hope those are better, but there's a chance that they're not, because this game, despite being like this, it sold a lot of copies. I think it sold several million copies at least. So there is a good chance that it's gonna be the same quality. I hope they at least finish the story when they make a game. Wow. Man, those final missions just made no sense. There's a massive gaps there. I think Charles Lee succeeded. I think Charles Lee was supposed to succeed in destroying the homestead and our village. And I think according to the story, Washington helped him. Because they talk about how Washington turned against the Native Americans in the end. So yeah, there must have been a lot of missing things. What else is there to say? Well, I think I've said pretty much there is to say. They just didn't have the time and resources to make the game good. I mean, there are a few moments of brilliance. Some of the later missions, some of the later main quest missions were, approaching the quality that you would expect from an Assassin's Creed game if you were playing, Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood and Revelations. Well, Revelations wasn't quite as good, but if you're used to Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, then some of the later missions approach those in quality. That combined with a new game engine, even though it has some issues with combat, some issues with parkour, but maybe the old engine also did have some issues with parkour. Not so much with combat. But it was approaching the quality that you would expect from an Assassin's Creed game, based on the games that have come before. So it's not like they can't do it. It's not like the game designers can't do it. It's just that I guess they couldn't afford to do it along with the new engine. And the animals, the foxes and the wolves and the bears, the QuickTime events to fight those. Why QuickTime events? You have a combat engine. And I think I know why. It's because they didn't have time to work the animal animations into the combat system. Because look, with the QuickTime events, you have 2 animations. Either the wolf hits you or you hit the wolf, right? It's 2 animations. Whereas with combat, there's so many more animations they have to make. Like if you parry it, it has to be an animation. If you dodge it, it's a different animation. If you hit it out of its attack, it's a different animation. If you counter, it's a different animation. If you throw them, you stab them on the ground. Like there's so many more animations that you need if you have a full-fledged combat system. And clearly, they just didn't have the time and resources to do it. So they just had 2 animations, either you hit or miss, and then that's the QuickTime event. It's really disappointing. It's really, really disappointing when you kind of just look at it and see. You can see very clearly what happened. Is that they didn't have enough time to make a full game. Because it could have been great. And I say this about a lot of games, to be honest. A lot of games end up like this. It's like you start making the game and then you run out of time. And then you release what you have. And it's a real shame because obviously they could have done a lot more if they had the opportunity to do so. Oh well, there you go. There's Assassin's Creed 3. We still have to go through the database. We still have to go through the architecture. We still have to go through the DLC. So we're not done yet. But I'll have to spend some time just walking around myself. Maybe like collecting the final few bits and pieces because I haven't quite gotten everything completed. I might have to complete a few more things before, all the database entries are there. Yeah, and then we'll come back and look at all those other stuff. Actually, let me just get out of this. Can I get out of this? Escape? Click. Wait a minute. You can't get out of the credits? Really? Escape doesn't work. Wow, you can't escape the credits. Or maybe the control... Maybe... See, my mouse cursor is on the screen and the mouse cursor is not actually moving. So maybe even the mouse is bugged. And glitched out maybe because I can't get out of the credits, guys. Alright, well we're stuck here listening to this epic music. Let's talk about the characters. Haytham... Haytham didn't really work. They tried. It kind of... they tried to make it work, but it just ended up being self-contradictory and confusing. Like sometimes he seems to be okay, and then sometimes he's just utterly ruthless. Maybe he's lying half the time. Maybe he's just but he's not. Like if he's a good liar, he wouldn't just randomly slaughter people in front of Connor. So it's just inconsistent. Is he telling the truth? Is he lying? If he's lying, then he's lying some of the times and not the other times. Is he a good guy or a bad guy? Can people be like that? I don't think they can. I don't think people can be just inconsistent like that with everything in their lives. Charles Lee was just a complete caricature. He was trying way too hard to be a bad guy, to be honest. It was pretty good acting, I guess. It was the voice acting, like kind of the venom in his voice, and the facial animations. Really, they really pushed the villain thing with Charles Lee, and it was quite effective, but it was a little bit over the top, especially when the story didn't match. When the story doesn't match the acting, then it was just kind of silly. But I quite appreciate Charles Lee. Like he was they did a. I don't know if I want to say they did a good job with the villain, but they put in a lot of effort into making him a villain. Man, he was trying. Like early on, like when Connor was a kid, and the Templars find this Indian boy, or this Native American boy, and then Charles Lee just starts choking the hell out of him against a tree, and he's like, "Tell me where your village is and you die," and then he talks about you filthy animals, you barely deserve to live, and then he kind of throws him on the ground, and then he walks away without ever finding out where the village is. It's like he's so busy being a villain that he doesn't actually do his job. So choking this kid, and he just walks, and then he's just gonna punch the kid and walks away. And he never gets the answer from the kid. It's like, no, you came here to ask him where the village is, but you get carried away with choking him. That's just so hilarious because it's completely over the top. That's amazing. Connor is. People have criticized Connor and his acting. I don't think Connor's acting was all that good. I don't think it was that good. Like the tone of voice and the things he says sometimes feel out of place. Sometimes it feels like he's kind of a little bit too aggressive, like it kind of doesn't really make sense. Other times it feels like he's not kind of involved enough. It's kind of weird. Sometimes it seems like he's being too polite, and then other times it seems like he's just being rude for no reason. I don't know if it's the acting or if it's the script. Maybe they wrote the script and it wasn't really clear to the actor what exactly they were trying to achieve. And that happens because you're just doing voice acting. You're not actually acting, so you don't get to control what your character does. You only get to control what he says. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's just the script. Like the actor maybe didn't understand the script, or maybe the script wasn't really finalized when they got the actor. I don't know. And I guess Connor is supposed to be kind of complicated as well. Like he's a Native American, but he's somehow helping the colonists, and like he's trying to do good, but then he's an assassin, so he kills a lot of people. So, I guess Hatham and Connor are both kind of supposed to be complex characters, and so maybe it makes them difficult to act. Like it makes Hatham looks like a schizophrenic or something, because he's just kind of can't keep his personality together, and it makes Connor slightly a bit like that too. Whereas Charles Lee, he's just a villain. It's very easy to understand what kind of character Charles Lee is. He's just a bad guy, and he just hams it up. That's great. What else is there to say? I wish we saw Achilles stab someone. I mean, I know he's kind of crippled and hobbling around on his cane all day, but he used to be an assassin, right? A lot of the politics is... they just didn't really explain it. Like Connor had a homestead and just invites a lot of Europeans to settle on his land. I mean, some of them he was saving from the oppression of the British. And that kind of makes sense. Like you find a couple of black farmers being abused by soldiers, you save them, and they say, "Oh, we got nowhere to go." And that kind of makes sense. Like you're helping these guys. Whereas other people, they're just white people, and you just invite them on, which is slightly weird. No, most of them were refugees from the oppression of the British. I guess that's okay in a way. But the homestead thing and the trading and the crafting and the trading that never really does anything useful. Like you have to spend 10 minutes clicking through that unwieldy menu system in order to make like £5,000. It's just it's like it's work. It's like you're going through spreadsheets, you're going through menus. It's just so unwieldy, and it doesn't really add much to the game. I could imagine it could have added to the game. Maybe you could make, I don't know, craft resources. I mean, first of all, make the menu less clumsy, right? Maybe there could be a thing where your homestead could be supplying food and weapons and clothing to the Patriot Army or something, and maybe that helps some other thing. I don't know. I mean, you could imagine that it ties in that you can produce things and support the war that way. But it was never made into that in the game. It was just this really bad menu system, and then you made a few pounds after you click a lot. The ship stuff, I mean, they had the ship combat engine in the game. They put it in. Once you upgraded the ship, the navigation and the combat was okay. I think with some careful mission design, they could have made some of those missions really interesting. The most interesting ones were the ones that I actually showed on video. And I think they could have done more of that. But they didn't have time. And I think they could have made them better. I think with a little bit of, lateral thinking and a bit of creativity, they could have made some really interesting ship missions, I think. But they never really managed to do it, and most of the side missions with the ships was really just you sailing up through some rocks usually, and then going out into the open ocean, killing like 3 to 6 ships, and then that's the end of the mission. So the side missions are just really dumb. Just really, really straightforward and not clever. So they're time fillers. And the underground, I showed you guys a bit of the underground. That's terrible. I mean, they could have made the underground just a massive parkour maze puzzle thing. Like 3-dimensional mazes with parkour everywhere. It could have been incredibly epic and difficult and amazing. If you imagine like a complex 3D parkour pathfinding sort of mission, instead it's just a simple 2D maze with a few minor puzzles every 10 minutes or so. So, it could have been amazing. What they just put in a maze, and it was just you running through a dark corridor for several hours, and that was kind of disappointing. What else was there? The hunting? It didn't really contribute very much. I mean, I guess, as you were running through the wilderness, you saw an animal and you just kind of stab them and you get some money out of it. Is that worth it? I don't know. It's just, it didn't add much. Like, they put the mechanic in, but they didn't do anything really creative with it. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much the same story for every aspect of the game. It's just it could have been better. It could have been better if they had the time and the money to fully design everything. I still think the combat is poorly balanced and maybe poorly designed. Because so often you end up in a massive brawl and you kill maybe 15 to 20 people when you really don't want to. I don't know, I never wanted to do those things, to be honest. Often I did not want to do those things. Like, you'd be trying to get an almanac page or doing some other mission, and then all of a sudden somebody, a soldier spots you, and then immediately like 15 guys just swarm around you, and then you have to slaughter all of them, and you have to stab each of them 5 times in the neck. Whoa, my screen's going to sleep. I think my mouse is glitched out, like the mouse is not moving. Yeah, so I mean the combat, I don't know, maybe somebody on the design team really enjoys like just watching Connor spin around and stab people in the neck 5 times. Maybe some people like that. Maybe a lot of people like that. I don't know. All I know is that most of it is spamming. You spam block and disarm, at the right times. Other times you just kind of spam attack. No, the mouse does work. No good deed goes unpunished. Oh, here we go. Epilogue. Wait, my leg is broken? I'm hobbling around like Achilles? Alright. Done. We chopped all the Templars. What? You just dropped it. It's a perfectly good hatchet. Are you kidding me? They just drop it on the ground? It's worth money or something. Anyway. So we're back here, and as far as I can tell, oh look, there's a homestead mission. Really? New recipe, new painting in the manor. Alright, so So the game just continues. I mean, just gonna keep playing if you want. And that's the, I guess that's the end of the main game. I'm gonna have to, yes, as I said, spend my time making sure I get all the database entries I want, and then we'll go wander around Boston and New York and look at architecture first, I think.
Don't lose your leg that much, I can promise you. But it will hurt some for a time longer.
Wow, these guys are
Looks worse than it is. Just keep it clean and you should be fine.
having a bad day.
Honor, I simply can't get to all these men in reasonable time. I need help. From you, from anyone. I think I have someone for you.
What? I do? Bring Diana to Dr. White. Who on earth is Diana and why do we have Diana? What? Who? What? You think you have someone for me?
Diana, come with me. I need your help.
Who is... Is Diana one of the villagers?
Dr. White is overwhelmed and needs some extra hands.
I'm no doctor.
Maybe not. But I have seen you care for people before. You have.
Is...
Diana, perfect. I'm told you have a healer's hand. Please see to this young man. Connor, if you could help the two gentlemen out front.
Help the two gentlemen out front. Here. Be helped. You are healed. Done. Good luck.
Good of you to help. I should be all right.
And you are healed. Done. Enjoy. Alright, done. You're healed.
Many thanks, Captain.
Do I need to keep going? Hi. You are now healed. Amazing. I just touched them and then they healed. You are now healthy. Really? Really?
Piece of shrapnel in the shoulder.
That's it?
Thank you, Captain.
You will now live.
Caught some burn off a rope. It happens.
That was easy. I can be a doctor. I'm so good at this.
You did well, Connor. But Diana, you impressed me greatly.
Well, thank you, Doctor. I haven't studied the practice or anything.
Maybe not, but your instincts are superb, and you have a healer's touch. If you had the time, I would be grateful for your help on a more regular basis.
Might be Catherine could watch the young ones a few days a week.
And if she can't, we'll find someone who will.
Okay. So that's another one of those homestead missions. You know, the ones that don't really have much content in them. We just walked up to 5 people and clicked buttons. But great. New trophy unlocked in the manor. Amazing. You click 5 times and everything is okay. Alright, I'm gonna stop. Actually, there's more of these. I'll do this in my own time. They're not really all that interesting. When we come back, let's go look at architecture. Story or architecture? Architecture. Let's go look at architecture. We haven't done any of that. Alright, I'll see you guys in the next video.